Today's lesson about sex-linked inheritance, or sometimes called X-linked genes, we started off taking a look at a picture of all of the chromosomes, which we call a karyotype. And in particular, the chromosomes that are paired 1 through 22, and I have them circled here in purple, are called autosomes. The last pair in this picture is the 23rd pair. Those are referred to as the sex chromosomes. That's what determines the gender of the individual. So in this case, this individual has an X and a Y chromosome. They're a male. If you look at this karyotype, this individual has 2 X chromosomes, and that would be a female. So if you take a look at the possible combinations, and we also put it into a Punnett square in class, you have the mother passing on either an X chromosome, and the father can pass on an X or a Y chromosome. And you can imagine that this is, remember, the sperm are haploid, so they would only carry one or the other. So they would only have one or the other. And this is actually showing the segregation or those different possibilities. So this comes into play, and we call these sex-linked genes because the Y chromosome is really much smaller than the X chromosome, and it only has a few genes. In this case, this is the testes determining factor on the Y chromosome. So males have this chromosome, but females don't have the Y chromosome. Males have one of these X chromosomes, but females actually have 2 copies. So because of all of these different genes on the X chromosome, we tend to say that these are X-linked disorders that we're about to talk about because they're controlled by genes on the X chromosome. So you want to copy this down into your notes if you don't have it already. Sex-linked or X-linked refers to traits controlled by genes on the X chromosome. Some examples of sex-linked disorders: color blindness, muscular dystrophy, and hemophilia. Now, color blindness occurs when you can't usually tell the difference between red or green. You're not going to talk about anything life-threatening here. Muscular dystrophy is a breakdown in the muscle. It usually is going to cause the inability to walk, sometimes death. The lifespan is usually not past 20. And hemophilia is a blood clotting disorder. So this is a disorder that if you get a paper cut, you could possibly bleed to death because you don't clot. So if you look at this prefix hemo, that means blood, philia is love. This person is going to bleed uncontrollably. All 3 of these they follow a recessive pattern. So if you inherit the recessive copy, the recessive allele for each of these, that's when you would be affected by the disorder. And we take a look, and I want you to focus in on this area first. We took a look at making a key for color blindness, where again, normal is if you have the dominant allele. If you have the recessive allele, which is a little b, that's colorblind. So in females, they can have 2 copies of the dominant allele, and they have X's that indicate they're females. So this would be a normal female. They have a dominant allele and a recessive allele. They're going to be normal because this dominant allele is going to overshadow this recessive allele, but they're going to be called carriers because they're kind of carrying the recessive disorder. They may not even know it. In this case, this is a colorblind female, and she has both recessive alleles. You know, it's a female because there's 2 X's. And then if you take a look at this individual, there's an X and a Y, so you know that's a male. Now take note that only the X has the actual allele because this is a gene on the X chromosome, not the Y. So there is no superscript on this Y chromosome. So there's an X. The dominant allele would mean it's a normal male, and the colorblind male is going to have one of the recessive alleles. There's a difference here. Men can't be carriers. They either have the disorder, or they don't. So when we solve this problem in class, and you can follow along with this 2 normal vision parents. So it was easy to pick out the normal vision male because he's right here, and we put him on this side of the Punnett square. The normal vision female, well, there were 2 different options. So we had to go on further in the question to see that they produce a colorblind son. So upon drawing the colorblind son, which we know this would be the genotype, into the Punnett square, we kind of work backwards. We see that the mother had to have given the son the recessive copy. So the mother was actually the carrier, the heterozygous. So what is the chance of their next child being a colorblind daughter? Okay, so you can pause the video and you can take a look. All right, and if you've unpaused it, if you look, there's no chance of them having a colorblind daughter. This daughter is going to be normal, and this daughter is going to be a normal. She's going to be a carrier, but she's not going to be colorblind. So in conclusion, there's a 25% chance they'd have a child that's colorblind. And then if they take a look at their boys, there's a 25 or 50% chance that one of their sons is going to be colorblind. So in conclusion, sex-linked disorders are more common in males than females because females can be carriers, but males only need one recessive copy to get the disorder. We then went on and assigned homework for students. We reviewed the sex-linked and X-linked disorders notes and practice. And really, this is just, the front is just a review of the disorders, and it goes a little bit more detail of these sex-linked disorders and what actually happens. And then a picture of red-green color blindness. So you should be able to see in this picture a 29, a 45, a 26, and then there's kind of a red shape in here. So some students were asking about what colorblind looks like, and then answer these questions to kind of demonstrate that you understand what we're doing. I hope everything is helpful, and if you have any questions, please check in to see me.